Good morning, team, or good afternoon, I don't know. I have to say that this is my first time as a speaker, but I'm trying to best, I promise you. Okay? So I would like to introduce myself so fast. I am system engineer. I am working for Singular for more than 3 years or 4 years, I don't remember. And I'm working with Atlassian for more than 10 years. Atlassian, DevOps, and all big world. And during this time, I have a lot of cases, and I select one important cases to explain to you what's important for me, why it's important for Singular. Okay, just to give you a little summary about this. This case is 3 years ago, we had a customer. This customer was so important for Spain because it was the most important migration between data center to cloud. This company is an energy company. It's a big, big energy company. Of course, I cannot say the name, but try to imagine what is the company. Why is important this company? The complexity in that moment in the migration was really hard because the amount we are talking about more than 2,000 users, 1,000 projects, now spaces in Jira, was really hard. One of the most important applications to migrate to cloud in that moment was eazyBI. After this migration, we have the opportunity to participate. We had the opportunity to participate in the maintenance services, and we have the maintenance services for that company. This year, in January, the principal contact of the most important spaces or area in this company approached to me and say, "Hey, Bryan, I need your help because I have a problem." The problem is related to the Scrum methodology. Have relation with the last conversation because we are talking about the methodology project and all this. And that was, I cannot say complex because it was not complex, but was different. She said, "Hey, Bryan, I need your help because the velocity report, the burden share report, the native report in Jira is not the same if you compare the total story points at the beginning and if you go to the end and the completed story points, it's completely different." And I said, yes, of course, because you can change, you can add more story points, you can add more story tags in the sprint. Okay, that's correct. But the problem is when you try to validate what is the real total story points at the beginning, you can use the native report. The answer is not. This is the problem because the committed story points is completely different if you go to the methodology. Why? The committed story points, the native report, and the native concept, I mean, count the total story points with the modifications during the sprint. For example, if you have 100 story points in the beginning in the sprint, and if you modify the story points during the sprint, the total story points, so the committed story points, will be different in the end. That is probably the most complex situation because have relation with the methodology. Okay, so that's the problem. That was the principal problem, the concept, the committed story points. So after this issue, my responsibility was to find the solution, but additional was to find the problem too. And I had the opportunity to talk with Atlassian about this situation because, you know, when you try to figure out what is the probably incident and you don't find the real incident, you need to contact the vendor. And the vendor say, "Hey, yeah, the problem, I know the problem. The problem is that this is the problem. Maybe you already know this key because with this key you can find a lot of issues or internal issues in Jira." And the problem is related to the concept, not the performance in that moment. It's the concept. The committed story points is the problem. But additional, when we were working on that, we find another problem. When you have more than 100 issues in the sprint, in the report, Jira take more time to calculate the total story points. I don't know why, but I communicate this problem to Atlassian. This is a known issue for Atlassian, okay? Was the simple solution? eazyBI. eazyBI in the sample report bring this data. Okay, maybe you already know. If you go to the folders in the account in eazyBI, you can find this report. This report brings all information about the sprints. You have the committed story points. You have the points added during in the sprint and other concepts. That's really nice because the committed story points is the real committed story points. It's not another strange concept. So with this solution, the customer say, okay, I'm okay, thanks. And additional is too fast. But I am consultant, and maybe you are consultant too. And my question to this woman was, why do you need to use this report? Because I understand the Scrum methodology, so I am curious. And she said, basically, let's see. Yeah, basically, I am use the sprint to calculate how much I need to pay to the vendors based on in the story points. Okay, that is the most important problem for them because these guys use the total story points to pay vendors. Okay, for every functionality, for products, modules, and other things. And additional, the big problem with them is are using Excel. Sometimes when we see Excel in a customer, we say, hey, it's a red flag. Excel is not a red flag. Excel is a point to check what is the best solution for the customer. And after to see this situation in the customer, I was trying to build the best solution for them. And the best solution was eliminate the Excel because the Excel can be manipulated and that's complex if we are talking about the security. In this case is money. The solution was simple. I mean, I use Jira basically because Jira is the most important product to manage activities and continue working with Scrum. But additional, I integrate with assets. Why assets? Because every vendor have a rate, basically money per story points. But additional, I need a BI tool to solve the problem, to replace the Excel, to improve this experience. And I use eazyBI for that solution. Basically, again, maybe the solution was simple. I use the same sample report in this account and integrate two different measures. The measures is the initial cost and final cost. Basically, I calculate the total story points in the committed story points in the beginning of the sprint and multiply per rate, okay? Every vendor have a different rate. This is the rate, the cost, okay? And the customer know what is the total money that they need to pay to them, okay? But additional is not only calculate the simple metric. The idea is give the best solution or go far away. More than calculate this simple measure, I was trying to give more value for this customer, and this value was achieved with another measures. The one measure was the vendor effectiveness score. This is basically the most important metric when we try to go to the predictive measures. And basically, this is a MDX script. I will not explain that, but I go directly to the report, okay? And this is the final report. Basically, I was looking for the historical changes in the sprint. I was using the rate. I was using the modifications during the sprint to evaluate what is the best vendor for our customer. These guys had more than, I don't remember, 7, 8 vendors, and now these guys have 3 vendors, and we are one of them. That's really nice for us. And this is the principal report, and this looks so good. And again, the most important situation in this type of projects is try to see the future. Try to see the future is the most important. And we don't need to use the AI to see the future. We can calculate with simple arithmetic measures the possible future. In this case, is the projected completion. Okay, this is a percentage based on in the historical. In this case, is in the board. And that was a really nice solution for the customer, because it's not only talk about the committed story points, the concept. Now we are talking about the money and the future too. By the way, before to go to the phrase, I use the AI, the assistant, to recreate the scripts. Of course, I cannot show the real information. And it's curious because to recreate all this, that is real reports. I don't remember. This took 1 hour. Was so fast. 2 years ago, maybe to recreate all this for me, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours, maybe more, one day. I don't know. And just to finalize my presentation, I would like to share with you this phrase: doing right means making it easier. Sometimes is we are thinking about it, but probably our responsibility is find the best solution for the customer, and try the best solution is make it easy. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. So do we have any questions? Anyone? Yes, Raimond has one. So catch it.
Thanks. One question about the Scrum methodology. Originally, so these agile methods came as saying that, well, your predictions are not budgets, and it was if you predict something, yeah, some story points, so actually it will be different. Now when it's tied in this project to financial commitments, so doesn't it result that vendors are trying to push up these yes. story points, and so they become budgets and not estimations anymore?
Totally. That's right. This report, let's see this report. Maybe this is the most important report to give you the answer. Yes, the first point after to present this report was that is to try to estimate correctly, because the vendor sometimes try to go up in the estimation, but with this, that was the first impact. Yeah, is the real case. Yeah, I know that sometimes you are talking about the the money with the customer. If you say, hey, try to put the rate based in the story points, sounds strange, sounds weird, because sometimes the people, we are vendor. I'm calculate the cost based in hours, not in the story points. But yeah, this is the case. Yeah.